Okay, I think I figured it out. I actually had my microphone off. There's a new button on this particular system. Okay, how about now? I'll put that into the chat area. Thanks, guys. See, that's why I do these sound checks, because I might have been talking and nothing getting recorded and nothing going on. But if you guys can actually hear me now, please put into the Webinar Jam chat area a big yes, a big Y, something letting me know that I am being heard, and we'll go ahead and get the webinar kicked off here. Okay, what's funny is I think those messages were personal. I don't know. All right, let's see here. I don't know how these sticky messages work. Can you hear me now? Everybody should be able to hear me now. If you can hear me, please put into the Webinar Jam chat area yes, and we will go ahead and get the webinar started. I don't know if it's a bug they've got tonight, but I can't really see all of the. It's not putting it on the right thing. So let's see here. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. I just switched it to something different. The screen wasn't stuck. I just basically had it on the same screen. So let's see here. This is frustrating. There we go. There we go. Okay. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Pete. Thanks. Okay, good. I'm getting some other private messages from some of you guys. So perfect. Thank you, Mike, Pete, Robert, James. Okay, good. That's good enough. At least I know some of you guys are out there and hear me loud and clear. So perfect. All right. So what we want to talk about tonight, we're going to be talking about a few things. One, some of the latest things that we've been going over in the coaching club and even on the blog. In fact, while we're thinking about that, before we get into the stuff on the coaching club site and just some of the email marketing, we want to go ahead and answer some of the questions that I've gotten about this just over the last week. And in all honesty, I feel like sending the right sequence of a reminder postcard does a couple of things. And really, we make the big push for this, and maybe I didn't explain this too much in the video. I did some, but just to make sure that everybody's crystal clear on this, I make the big push for this at the 2-year, anywhere between the 2-year and 2.5-year mark. And it really varies depending on how busy we are and when we actually decide to do this for our clients. I feel like I want to mail a lot to my clients the first 2 years that they are clients, because I want to find out if they are people who get their carpet cleaned often. And if they are, I want to really make a big impact on them and really catch them and have them declared as the cleaning company, declared as the cleaning company that they want to use. Now, what we do is after anywhere between 2 and 2.5 years, we really want to take them off our database if their intentions are to get cleaning every 5 years or never again by us, or maybe some people get carpet clean every 10 years, right? Or only on some really special weird occasion. And I love those people too, and I don't love them as much though as my regular clients that clean every year or two. And frankly, we'll clean for them the same, we'll treat them the same, but frankly, I don't want to market to them the same. So I will actually go through a sequence to purge them from my database. And in that process too, it's a sequence that will get more people coming in. And so we send out these postcards, the Sheets postcard and the where are those? And I know some of the questions that we got about this is where are those postcards located? Probably, I wonder if they're under the client retention. But let's see here. Mike, I might have to email you those if you can't find them, but let's see here. Let's put on sheets, postcard. I wonder if it'll come up under that. No. Reminder. Here's one of the 1-year reminder postcards. If you just look under the postcards, you'll find them there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make client reminder postcard. I'm going to probably make it, here's the dirty sheets postcard, and there's an oil change postcard. I'm going to make a separate category, actually, instead of just postcards, for reminder postcards, so that I can actually get that. That'll get out better to you guys. So there's one of the ones that we'll send out, but the ones with the sheets, the dirty sheets postcard is here. And then the oil change postcard is there. So you can probably type in sheets or dirty sheets, and you'll see this postcard. And the other one is the oil change postcard is here. Right, so they're 4x6-inch postcards, and I explained that in the video. Either first class postcard stamp for 35 cents, or we'll mail them bulk mail for mailing more than a couple hundred of them. Now, the other thing, too, is that if you're part of the coaching club, we can actually mail these for you, but the thing is, to be able to mail them for you, we have to mail at least 500 of them. There's an $85 charge, and then you get to actually mail them for 25 cents a postcard if you want to mail them first class, or bulk mail. If you want to mail them first class, it's a little bit more than that, and it kind of varies, I think, on how many you're sending, but if it's right at 500, don't quote me on this, but I think it's 30 cents or 29 cents or something like that, and that's for, first class pre-sorted type of a mailer. And it's a 4x6-inch postcard, but we'll send those, and then we'll actually send the letter, which is what would be the tag on that one? I'll have to even look that one up because I can't remember. The Miss You letter, I believe, is what it was tagged under. I need to put this one up more of on a recent spot so everybody can find it, because everybody's been looking for that and asking me for that. Here it is, Miss You client retention, but I'll put this more up to the top. But this is the other letter that you're going to send at the end. So really the sequence is going to be a postcard, and then maybe the second postcard, maybe the sheets postcard, and then maybe the oil change postcard, and maybe the last final letter that says, look, we haven't heard from you, so we're going to take you off our mailing list, kind of thing. Do you have to send all three? No, you could just send the postcard and the letter. You could even just send the letter. I forgot who it was. Several of you over the last, since we've had these out, have told me that you get a really, really good return and a really good cash flow every time you send this out. And so you're doing two things that are wonderful here. You're cleaning up your database, and you're getting a new influx of jobs and reactivating people who you haven't heard from in a couple of years. So the big thing is make sure that they're actually people that you haven't cleaned for, because sometimes we've done this and our records were maybe a little bit messed up and we didn't quite realize that we had cleaned for them, and then we're sending them something saying you haven't cleaned in 2 years, then we kind of look stupid, kind of like, geez. So make sure that they're people that you actually haven't cleaned for. But does anybody have any questions about that? Because this is, to me, this is really one of the most important aspects of client communication, because you're cleaning up your database, so you're not mailing people who don't really want to hear from you anymore. Again, after 2 years, if they haven't called you again, they still might call you. That's kind of the thing. But at least you're making the big push, and you're making a very big educational statement. Here's the other huge thing about this. It's really important. You're making a huge educational statement, letting them know that frequency of cleaning every year or 2 years at the absolute most is super important. And frankly, if you're not willing to clean within 2 years, I'm not going to really mail to you that often anymore. And I still might. The other thing is that those clients go into a series of being mailed to every once in a while, from there. I don't just stop mailing to them and take them off my database forever, but I'll probably email them. I'll definitely still email them on the email list, but I won't spend money on the physical mailers, except for, maybe once a year, maybe during the holidays, or, for the next couple of years. But even after 4 or 5 years, we'll flat out just take them off and not mail to them anymore, more than likely. I mean, sometimes I mail for a little bit longer than that, but that's generally, So does that make sense? Does that mean, because this is really a good way to clean up your database, and it's really something that I recommend that everybody do. And I mention this too because I know some of you do use, Service Monster, House Call Pro, which, those are fine, those are good, but if you're relying on that, you are spending a lot more money than what you could spend on this. But the drawback is we can mail them all for you. The only drawback is we're going to need to get at least 500 postcards to be able to do that and be able to send out those reminders for you. But if you have, so what we usually like to do is we'll wait maybe, and even though maybe everybody isn't right at the 2-year mark, they might be at the 2-year or 2-year and 6 months or somewhere in between then, so that we have a full 500 people, within that couple month or few month interval. And then we'll mail all 500 of those people so that we can, get that discount being able to send those out. And or we'll send them bulk mail too. You only have to have 200 to send them bulk mail. But if we want our printer to be able to mail them out, we need at least 500. But anyway, so that's the neat thing. I mean, if you want to mail them yourself as well, you can just get 1,000 of these printed for $36 and then pop 35-cent stamps on them. And just print labels up. Then all you got to do is put a label and a stamp on. Boom, boom, boom. In minimal time, maybe spend an hour doing it, or have your office assistant do it, your kids, that type of thing. But kind of easy to do, but some of the best marketing that you can do, some of the best, and really some of the best education that you can do to your current clients. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, let's see here. Oh, the other big questions that we're getting to are on the carpet and floor care guide book. We are doing another print of these, and we will be having openings for this within the next week. If you're interested in this, email me right away. If you're part of the ad club, I haven't normally tried to work out payments for anybody else, but if you're part of the ad club, I might be willing to do a small breakup of payments for this. But it's a very good tool to be able to give to carpet retailers and realtors, interior designers, those type of people, to put in their hands with your picture on it, your company logo that says, we go way above and beyond and do way above and beyond for education than most cleaning companies do. In fact, really every other cleaning company in the city, except for maybe one other company, might be almost on par with what we're doing. But that's really the statement that's made, and it really sets you off as professional. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If you haven't heard about it yet, go to the blog, hivanadvertise.com/blog, and check out that video. But if you want to be able to have a book, we can do that for you for, when I was talking to somebody that was messaging me, because he said he was thinking about, he'd started writing his own book himself, and I let him know that, quite honestly, you're going to have to first finish all of it if you want to do it yourself. And then you're probably going to spend more than the $997 on getting it edited. Because if you're going to write a book like this, you really need a professional editor. You're going to pay a few $100s for that, a few $100s for the design, and then you're going to take a lot of time to go in there too, figuring out how to get it all really set up correctly in Create Space and all of that. You're probably going to spend close to, if not more than, $1,000. So, but if you're wanting to write your own book, obviously then that's what if you really have that set in your heart, that's really what you need to do. But at the same time, if you want to just get it done quickly, this is a good, quick way to do it. We can do that for you and help you out with that. And if you want to request a review copy, it's $50. That's a deposit, but go ahead and click that link and do that part. So, all right, a little bit of the other housekeeping. I know it looks like everybody that's on the webinar, people can't say everybody's last name, but if I'm thinking you're the same Robert and Norman and Mike and James, everybody that's been on here before, then I know who you are. But for the people who might be watching it later, this is the Ad Club membership site. If you want to see the past webinar replays, you go here. Each and every month, you'll get a free graphic design. Huge discounts on printing. We print for over 100 cleaners all over. So we are brokers for some large printers, but we can help you out with getting some really good discounts on printing as well. We've kind of got the Ad Club set up a little bit different, categorized a little bit differently now. We're still trying to work with some of it, but we're able to. Here you click on the different icons and you see the different postcards and referral marketing training and email newsletters, the client postcards, and you get the picture. So tonight, first, I want to show you one of the newer things that we've got on here, which is an EDDM mailer. Clicking on the EDDM category. And let's see, this is actually an adaptation of the neighborhood mailer and the spring mailer that we've done before. Now, what I want to do, and I might even make a different version for fall, I haven't decided yet or not, but we're using this postcard a lot right now, mostly because, well, really entirely because it's working really, really, really good. You know, we just sent out 2 weeks ago, we're about to send out another batch of them, but I think 2 weeks ago or so, we sent out 2,100 of these to a nice neighborhood, and we got in, I think, 16 or 17 jobs, you know, from sending these out. And these are all in high-end, nice neighborhood with big houses, you know, and almost everybody here has, and we specifically handpicked this neighborhood because these people have, you know, carpet and tile and rugs. And upholstery. That obviously everybody's got upholstery, but usually they have the whole full gamut. We don't do hardwood floor right now, coincidentally, but if we did, they do hardwood floor, you know, as well. So, but this postcard has done really, really well for us, you know. And again, like we talked about, if you want to tweak the offers a little bit, feel free to. You definitely can. I never really like to stand up and say you have to use these offers, but again, realize that the better offer that you use, the better response that you're going to get. But this has been one of the best, you know, handful of EDDMs that we've done. And since it's working so well for us right now, the way I like to do marketing is once you figure out something that, you know, works really well, you keep hammering on it until it doesn't, you know, and especially too, to continue that campaign, because we'll go mail almost the same thing, you know, when we have this variation and it's a little bit different than the one that we sent them for Christmas or spring or whatever. They're kind of getting reminded that it's the same company. You know, right? And we're also reminding them again that it's the same, you know, the same company, the same offer, but that we're back in their neighborhood again, you know, cleaning, and that giving them the impression that we're the neighborhood cleaners. That's really a lot of what, whenever I've done neighborhood marketing, one of my big things that I've tried to really get through is that we're the neighborhood cleaner. We're in your neighborhood a lot. We clean for these people. Now, like we've talked about before when we've done this, you definitely do want to get a picture of either the neighborhood sign or something at the front of the neighborhood in that local area that signifies and really calls out that you've been in the neighborhood, that you were there, and that, you know. So don't forget to do that. Don't forget to even put the name of the street of the neighbor you just cleaned on. You know, legally, as far as I know anyway, you're allowed to do that in most states. I mean, you know, again, check maybe with an attorney if you're super, super skeptical, but you're allowed to do that because it's truth. And as long as it's truthful, you really did clean there. You're not allowed to lie. But what would make it even better is if you could get a picture of the client's house. If you got permission to actually use their name and get a testimonial from them and put their exact address that they were on, and maybe put a testimonial that's in bold or big italics down here in this area. That would be even sweeter, you know, quite honestly, if you could get that to go on. In reality, you know, for me, since we've been using this, we've only been even testing this out and doing this particular postcard for, I don't know, 6 months, or I think sometime last summer is when we started doing it. But I haven't been able to, for some reason, get my technicians to actually get a testimonial specifically for this. I mean, sometimes to work with that when you're not actually on the truck, it's like pulling teeth from technicians to get that kind of stuff to go on. But if you're actually out on the truck, you might be able to get that, you know, to happen. So obviously it has to be somebody that's really, really happy with what you've done. But if they are, you know, they'll gladly let you take a picture of the front of their house and even tell them what you're doing, and, you know, say, hey, we want to be able to send a postcard out and let people know that, you know, you were happy with us. Let your neighbors know. Would you be willing to do that? If they're already referring you, or if they're already a good client or somebody that's thrilled to death over what you're doing, then, you know, for the right person, that would be fine, and it would be a really sweet, you know, thing for you to be able to do to mention that. So, but yeah, definitely, if you're thinking about trying an EDDM out, doing EDDM right now, I would recommend doing that type of a letter. So let's see here. And that's sort of the newer stuff that, except for some of the email stuff that we've got going on. So we'll go ahead and start talking about some email marketing here. Of course, the email training, we've got some other new stuff that we're going to be adding here shortly, but we have the email guide, the overview, and we've talked about that. We won't really go back over that again. The email autoresponder sequence, the video on how to set up an autoresponder. We got a new video on how to install that code for the autoresponder on your website. So we kind of walk you through that step by step in both Aweber and Constant Contact. We're going to do some other video training on how to actually do the email newsletter, into that. We got ideas for offers, an email response to an email estimate, confirmation email, that type of thing, and of course the links to go sign up for Constant Contact and Aweber. So a lot of questions that I got last time and even throughout the week is what do you recommend ideally for let's see here. Let me check on questions or what we've got going on. Okay, good. So what do I recommend ideally for an email software? Constant Contact, Aweber, MailChimp. Is it MailChimp? I think, yeah, it's the other one. Ideally, I'd recommend Aweber if you're starting all over again, and the reason being is the price doesn't go up. With Constant Contact, the more emails you have, the price does go up. That's one reason, but even further than that, Aweber is more it's more robust and not any more difficult, really, but it's you can do more stuff with it. And from what I understand, and a little bit of speculation, but from what I understand, historically they have a better deliverability rate on your emails. And so one question that I got too via email during the week is, well, should I be disappointed if I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of them aren't getting opened, or a lot of emails are getting sent back, or that's normal. I mean, that when you send the email out, be surprised, not surprised, but what you really want to hope for, if you send out 1,000 emails, be lucky and happy if 200 of them actually get opened, right? That's and that's even on the good side for emails, a 20% open rate, right? Realistically, can you guys share some of what you've got for email open rates in some of your emails? Does anybody get anything better than 20%? I know a lot of you probably don't get, from what I've looked at, and even from my own emails from my cleaning company, we're lucky if we get 15, 16, 17%, right? So, but again, don't let that discourage you. Realize that you're marketing for very, very cheap to people who want to give you permission to market them. So that's huge that they're going to give you permission, but you're actually marketing for very, very cheap. So the fact that a lot of them are just going to internet wonderland, try to improve it, but don't let that discourage you, because you're still marketing for very cheap, right? But Aweber tends to have a little bit better deliverability than Constant Contact, but Constant Contact's good too. They've got a good reputation. I'm not saying that they're bad. And again, if you're already using Constant Contact, just stick with them. I wouldn't bother to change just because I recommend Aweber a little bit higher. I recommend Constant Contact too. So it's just that if you're starting all over or you haven't really gotten into using it much, then I'd ideally recommend that you switch to Aweber, because it's just as easy to use, and you can do more stuff with it later on down the road, and you'll thank me later when you really want to start using it for different stuff. So let's look at we're going to talk a little bit about getting more response with your emails. So let's go ahead and look at, remember in the Ad Club site, to get to the email newsletters, you can either go to categories and email newsletters here by clicking on that, or that front page that we just looked at, you click on emails, or you can go under the email marketing course and click on to see the latest email newsletters there. And this will go to all the categories of emails. Now we do actually have this is one of the newer things that we've got on here for summer, but a Facebook graphic that's similar to one of the postcards that we've got that you can feel free to use on your Facebook page and on your in your email newsletters. I don't know if you've already got one of the email. I know one of the email newsletters that's coming up is going to have that graphic in it. I don't know if that's one of the ones that we actually have on here or not. I think we've got one that's similar, but it might not be that exact one. But this is one of the summer pet odor removal email newsletters, and the subject line is hot, humid summer. Summer activates odor, and kind of a newsy type of a headline. And it's got just pictures of a dog, and then it's an education about how the humidity in the air activates pet odors. Now, somebody that doesn't have pets isn't really going to be that interested in this, but I know for our company, more than half of our clients actually have pets, so this is going to be something interesting to them. So the part of when we're talking about really trying to solicit a response out of this, we want to realize a few things. One, make sure that the headline is catchy. And we've got some examples, other examples besides the one that we're giving you here of just other catchy headlines. But you want to understand that you need to have something on here that signifies either newsy stuff, and if it's summer, that's kind of newsy. I don't know. I might even want to go back and retweet this and put pet odor right here. But I may or may not think about that and do that later. But if you wanted to, you could tweak that a little bit to specifically, really cater to people that have pets. But it gives them an education, kind of walks them through what the problem is, and of course the solution is you, and you give them one spot flush with the water claw treatment, for free. Now, the other really neat thing to do about this and to be able to get a response is you pull them in with the whole story, and then you turn around and give them a link, not just even to your main page, but I didn't write specifically on here, but really ideally to your pet odor page. Hopefully you have a page on your website about pet odor, and if you're going to have an email that talks about pet odor, why not continue the conversation to read more about pet odor, see about our pet odor treatment, go to our website page here on pet odor, right? That really kind of completes the sales message. Maybe not totally complete, because it's not complete till they book an appointment, but it's because here we're more pulling them into book an appointment. But another line about that, maybe even underneath this, to book an appointment, go here. But if you want to see more specific information about pet stain removal, go to our pet stain removal page here. Would be another way to sort of get into that whole topic. And of course, we give the brief mention about our referral program, right down here, talking quickly about what that is. So doing that is going to get you, one, furthering the sales conversation, and getting them more educated, which is huge. I can't stress enough that I love to have educated clients. I love it when a client calls me and they already know about my water claw procedure because they read about it on my website. I love it when they read my email newsletter and they know exactly what needs to happen, because now I don't have to talk them into getting, the water claw treatment. I don't have to tell them about what it is. Basically they already know, and all I got to do is tell them how much it's going to be. And if I don't remember if this email actually, it says one spot's 20, so they're assuming the other spots are 20. And sometimes I'll put 2 and 2 together and understand that I have 8 spots and it's going to be $160 for pet odor treatment, right? And it's a whole lot easier. Just like don't you guys like to, one of the reasons why I love repeat clients is because I don't have to educate them about my prices. I don't have to talk to them for 30 minutes and convince them that we're the people that they need to hire. They already know me, love me. They're already educated about our company, right? So what you're really doing in these email newsletters too is you're further educating them, furthering the sales process about your other services, because a lot of the times the pet stain removal, that might be something they understand that you do, or even that you had done the first time. But when we're talking about other emails, it's maybe like another email to do with tile and grout here. This one is another example. Maybe they didn't even know they originally called you for carpet cleaning. They didn't even know that you did tile and grout. So, we have a subject line, 5 tips for clean tile, grout, and floors. And then you're giving them some specifics on what they need to do. And then you're giving some frequently asked questions. And then you're letting them know that you do recoloring. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't, take that out. But if you don't, I recommend that you do it. It's a pretty easy thing to get into. And then, basically, you educate them about that. When we send out an email like this, we always get people going, oh, I didn't know that you did that. And now, it's maybe a good client that was thinking about either doing it herself, or thinking about getting new tile because she hated her grout, or thinking about calling a competitor because they advertise grout cleaning, right? Well, sending a simple email like this, or even a postcard, so we have postcards just like this too, is specifically what that's for, to be able to educate them about that so that they know that you actually clean it. And so they know that you do it. And then again, get an estimate now at your website. That prompts them to go there for that. But even to one up that, underneath this, I would put, to see more information on our tile cleaning system, go to, and then have your specific page about that leads to tile cleaning, right there on that part of it. So Does that make sense with everybody? Oh, Mike's asking, what do I use for grout dyeing? Well, currently, oh my gosh, it's so seldom that I even look at the grout dye that I can't even remember. I know one of the company, this old grout, I had asked on the cleaning marketing board, I think a while ago, and I got some other good recommendations because we were thinking about switching. But currently, I think we've used Texrite, which is Texrite, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's apparently not it. Texrite tile grout. Yep, okay, there's no dash. And they have a grout dye that we like. Liquid additives, I think. Well, I can't remember. You might need to call them and figure out exactly, because it's usually they sell like installation kind of stuff, and they sell a dye as well. I don't know if it's a liquid. I don't think it's an additive. Do it yourself application and coverage. Oh, you might want to call them or call. I don't know, Mike. I'll email you on that because I can't remember. But this old grout is another good one. And if you get on the cleaning marketing board, maybe ask again if you can't find the post. But several guys on there gave some good recommendations of other things I've heard about and even thought about trying. So maybe think about that. But it's really easy. It just can be time consuming. Is kind of the problem. You're on your hands and knees. I highly recommend that you get a little scooter or something to, I can't remember what it's called. We've got a little thing that you sit on with a bicycle seat that can save your knees and your feet because it can really wear on you there. But, what I love about it is we can go in and make $150 an hour and not even have to have a darn truck mount. So anytime we can do that, I love it. When you can have two guys in, working $150 an hour, sometimes maybe more, no truck mount, the dye is super cheap. Boom, boom, you don't have to spend money on gas. Really, the chemical cost is, again, maybe comparable to what you'd spend on carpet cleaning chemicals, maybe it's slightly a little bit more, but not a whole lot more. It's very profitable, let's put it that way. So, but back to the subject of this is, the emails are about educating and telling about different stuff. So I like to educate about, when I'm in education mode, sometimes it's about the season. If we're talking about summer, here we're talking about summer, but we're also tying summer in with pet stain removal, right? Because a lot of people don't realize this whole scenario that that's why it's smelling worse, because you've got it permeating because there's still some urine in there, so those crystals are making it smell, right? And so you're educating them, but you're also relaying back to the season. Here, this one's more specifically for just here's a different service that we do that you might not realize that we do. And some of the times the email will be about, during March, St. Patrick's Day, and the myths, which kind of goes in with upper commons and things like that. What we have other 4th of July ones coming up that you guys will probably be getting in the next couple of weeks. And then, even other summer related type stuff. But they're not all related to the seasons. A lot of them are, but you get kind of the idea, but just different various topics. Here's again one on handmade rugs and how to identify rugs if you do that. In spring, what to do after snow. And for some of you, if you're in some places where I think Colorado just had snow, you might even want to send this email out again if you've already sent that out, or some of the ones in March, April talk about some of the times specifically to spring and spring cleaning coming and things like that. But you always want to, especially when they're educating about a specific, when you're talking about a specific service, lead directly to your page because you want to get more traffic on that page. You want to further the sales process, and even with that, furthering your conversion ratio and your response rate, right? So part of it is the headline. A big part of it's the headline, which is the subject line, and in this email, subject line, 5 tips to clean tile, grout, and floors. But the other part of it is getting the email open is part of the subject line, but giving them a story or some information that's going to pull them in. And chances are, if they've called a cleaning company before, they're at least somewhat interested in this stuff, right? Again, not always, but a lot of the time, somewhat. But if you notice that, every once in a while, maybe the subject line be about a special offer that you've got or something like that, but rarely, really only a few times a year, and probably what I'll do, because I've had somebody ask is maybe give an example of some of those. I don't always want to give a ton of, things like that, because I know, again, you want to do them so seldom that I don't really want to give a whole lot of emails to you guys with a pitch that's just a pure pitch of $25 off or 20% off or whatever. But on rare occasions, again, that can be fine. That can be permissible. So what other? I don't know. I guess the chat is still working. I've had some comments, but not a lot. But what other comments, questions do we have from you guys? Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Norman, that's a good comment. Mentioned that you can get a knee dolly for the tile and grout dyeing from Harbor Freight for $15. Oh my gosh. I know the one that we bought was like $150 or something with a bicycle seat and all of that. So check that out. I guess it's called a knee dolly or something similar from Harbor Freight. But check that out for sure. Also, question, do you use 4 emails in your autoresponder? That's all that's on the site. Yeah, currently that's all that we use. Why? In a way, I feel like because we send other emails along with it. I've always been very, and I've tested out with more, but it seems like we kind of get more opt-outs. But then again, maybe I'm being too sensitive to that whole thing. But the thing is, for a carpet cleaning company, people don't want a whole lot of emails. And sometimes if they get the impression up front that you are emailing them every day or every other day, they start to go, oh, geez, this is just going to continue, and they'll opt out. In fact, I've even had a couple clients mention that to me. So with the 4 emails in conjunction with, we're probably going to email them every other week, I don't like to just bombard them, for that. Just some reminders about, hey, we're going to make an appointment here. Now, if you want to do another email or 2, I don't know. It seems like I think at one point we had 5, and it wasn't. I don't think it really got us that many more opt-outs, but it just seems like that 5 or 6 email mark, it goes up a lot more. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that. So, but Mike's telling me that he definitely is going to try. And get in touch with me about that. Well, it's TextRite. And then, like I said, like Norman said, I would definitely test out that knee dolly for $15. I don't think you can go wrong. This old grout is the other one, but yeah, Mike, maybe just ask on the cleaning marketing board about the other types of grout dyes that they were recommending, or even scroll down. It's probably one of the posts from a few weeks ago, so it was recently that we were talking about that. So, all right, guys. Well, any other questions, comments? We're going to have several more emails coming up. Again, summer emails going to be coming out, several of them, probably next week. Some other training for the email marketing program. So look at that coming really, really soon, probably next week and the week after next. We'll have some other summer EDDMs coming out as well, and some other summer client postcards coming out as well. So look for those. Unless I'm missing something, anybody think of anything else, or anybody have any other last-minute questions? I'll give you guys just another second. Okay, Norman's asking, autoresponders aren't just a linear marketing form from one point of view. You can have autoresponders for the different areas, right, from which you have clients reach you. Exactly, and that's why I recommend Aweber. With Constant Contact, you can't really do that. So here's what Norman's meaning. Autoresponders aren't just a linear marketing form. In other words, it's not just one big line and they're all going to get the same thing. You can have autoresponders for different areas, different subjects, different things, different interests for whenever you have clients reach you. So what does that mean? You might have a different autoresponder for commercial marketing. You might have a different autoresponder just for realtors. You might have a different autoresponder just for, and it depends on the interest level. You're right, Norman. If you do have something that's a little bit more interesting specifically to somebody like a realtor, you might in that case have more than 4 emails, right? But for just general, somebody opting in for a $25, whatever you decide to have, a $10, $15, $50, whatever gift certificate, you do start to get, from what I've tested, you do start to get response rates a little bit. But something specific like for realtors, then that maybe not so much, right? They might want more emails from you, especially if they're interesting emails. And I don't remember if it was you, Norman, or somebody that I've talked to that's kind of tried to prod me every now and then about doing a autoresponder series, I think specifically for commercial. And we may do that in the near future, actually, as part of this course. We might even do a small autoresponder series for that. But if you guys are interested in that, maybe give me some feedback, and maybe a couple more people prodding me along could get that to happen. But yeah, you're right, and that's why with AWeber you can have different autoresponders for just pet owners if you want, and just talk about pet stains. But again, sort of the drawback with that is you got to write a whole autoresponder series specifically for them. But it's so niche to them that it would really, really educate them, and they would feel more part of your company and even be more apt to stay in the newsletter if it was specific to them. Exactly. Turn up the electricity on the property. Yeah, exactly. Good. Well, all right, guys. I don't see any other last-minute questions coming in. I'm available via email for quick questions. The other thing, too, is lately, if you guys have questions, comments about stuff, the cleaning marketing discussion group is really good because there, everybody can get use from what you're asking, because chances are you're asking it, somebody else is kind of thinking it, or somebody might even have a better answer than I do, or be able to, plus whatever I'm answering you for. So we got a lot of smart guys, Norman's one of them, Robert's one of them too, but we got a lot of smart guys in the coaching club and that hang out on that cleaning marketing board too that can help you as well. So that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that you guys really, get your business rocking and rolling. So, all right, guys. Well, the recording should be up, if not tonight, sometime really soon. Sometimes they actually come up pretty quick, or you get an email about it pretty quick. So we'll get the recording up there pretty soon for this. We'll have some other stuff coming out for these emails. So, all right, guys. God bless. Have a great rest of the night, and we'll talk to you guys soon.